Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Whitefield Golf Club, which is my second spiritual home, where I've spent a substantial part of my life hacking up grass and swearing. My first spiritual home being the Theatre of Dreams, but enough said about that at the time being. My Fed journey started around Hanukkah 2020, when the Fed issued a call for volunteers to deliver Hanukkah goodie bags. I drove up to Heathlands, not really knowing what to expect, whereupon the back seat was filled with all sorts of goodies, kindly donated by supporters of the Fed. I was given a list where to deliver them, and off I went. I was expecting to be delivering them in the leafy suburbs of Prestwich and Whitefield. Instead, I headed towards Moston, Blakely and Crumpsall. My first call was to a lady who answered the door on a mobility scooter, next to a gentleman who slowly shuffled to the door, apologising for keeping me waiting, but said it was due to him having Parkinson's. I assessed his age to be probably maybe late 50s, early 60s. The third call was to a lovely elderly couple who insisted that I came in for a cuppa, sat me down and proceeded to show me approximately 157 photos of their grandchildren. Last call was to a sprightly lady of a vintage age. "What do you want?" she said to me as I opened the door. I explained who I was and why I was there and passed over the goodie bags. "Michael Goldman, eh?" she said. "Was your father Benny Goldman?" "Yes," I replied. "Oh, he was a handsome man," she said. "I didn't half fancy when I was young." Having dropped all my bags off, I headed off home. It had been a real eye-opener for me. The level of gratitude and appreciation that everyone had showed towards me for receiving these goodie bags was truly humbling. It left a deep impression on me, and that's when I decided to get properly involved. Then lockdown 3 came along. I signed up to be a proper volunteer and was given a lonely gentleman in Prestwich in his late 80s who had unfortunately recently lost his wife to call and have a chat with. He is a most amazing man. He had mastered Zoom, was learning Morse code, and was organising Zoom quiz nights. We meet for coffee now, speak regularly, and have become firm friends. I'm also currently calling on a 68-year-old gentleman who I used to play football with in the dim and distant past, who has unfortunately had a stroke and is housebound. Unfortunately for him and me, we're both United fans, so we can moan and whinge together. Next task, when lockdown finished, moving on to rung 2 on the ladder, I was asked to do shopping for a couple of families. Now, my wife would tell you I am an expert shopper as long as I am in either the biscuit, chocolate or crisp aisle, but sadly lack knowledge elsewhere. These lists contained unusually strange items, such as cheeses and yogurts and tin foods. The whereabouts of where they lived in Tesco was a complete mystery to me. So I decided to enlist the help of my good lady Linda, a Tesco maven, to help me on my first shop. And amazingly, both families seemed fine with whatever I had brought them, and now I'm a dab hand in Tesco and the kosher shops. I'm currently helping with the shopping for a lovely gentleman in his 40s with difficult health issues. We shop every fortnight, and I really enjoy his company. He's a great guy. Helping the families on a regular basis has led to not just delivering the shopping, but establishing a warm rapport with them, understanding their difficulties, how difficult day-to-day life can be for them. And I know when I visit them, the probability is I am the only contact they have with the outside world, and we will often chat for half an hour or more. One elderly couple told me they were suffering extreme financial hardship. This information I fed back to the team at the Fed so they could be given further help. Recently, I took a gentleman out just a year older than me. Unfortunately, he suffers with dementia. My brief was to take him to the fort for a bit of shopping, where he decided he would rather go for a ride in the car, so that's what we did. This man never goes out. He lives in a really run-down hostel-type accommodation with 7 other men. They have one room each and they have a communal dinner hall where they eat. It was grim to say the least. He has no family. And again, the level of his appreciation was totally out of proportion to just taking him out for a drive in the car. The volunteering I do never takes more than a couple of hours a week. And maybe some of you can find this small amount of time to help out, as the need is great. And I promise you, you'll find it so worthwhile and rewarding. Many volunteers have their regular clients who they either visit, do a shop, or offer their assistance to in a myriad of ways. Having a regular client does help to build up a rapport and friendship between both parties. And every week, an email comes out to the volunteers asking for help on one-offs. This could be to take a person to the hospital, or a doctor's appointment, or to do a one-off shop, etc. A couple of weeks ago, a lady in her 80s requested someone to take her to see Les Mis, tickets included. That was snapped up very quickly. I am under no illusions that I am on a very low rung of a very high ladder, and I have a much greater appreciation of what a fantastic job the Fed does, dealing with all facets of problems and situations: children with special needs, poverty, abuse, drugs, loneliness. The list is endless. There are many, many issues out there. I know the amount of help and time I give is minuscule compared to the big picture of what is needed. But as they say, every little bit helps, and maybe you can also. Thank you very much.